Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we've actually got some pretty big breaking Epstein news. Now, originally I was just going to do a little black book AMA. We're still going to do the AMA. So get your questions in now. As always, I'll take all super chats. I take them in order. If I miss them, it is not on purpose. I have it on live chat just so everybody knows that this is the real deal. Start getting in the question right now. And as you can see, we have it on the live chat. Let's scroll it down. It's weird. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to fix it live. Okay. And by the way, what's the news? Looks like 4 of the accomplices, we're gonna get there in a second, are finally going to be brought to justice. So let's do this. And we're grabbing it. And there it is. See, this is how we do it live, guys. We're going to put that over here. And let's just delete that. And let's try to do it. So 4 accomplices, again, let me say it again, are poised to finally be arrested. Is this going to be Kalen? Is this going to be Maxwell? Is this going to be Groff, Marcinkova? Who do we got? There we go. Let's go -22. How's that? Perfect. So get your questions in now, and we will go to them in a second. And remember, we'll take all super chats, and I'm going to thank some big donations also today. Keeping the Burmis Brigade alive. Thumbs this video up and share it with others. Jeffrey Epstein, FBI ready to strike against pedophiles, child groomers. So finally, we're going to see this. And by the way, Trump has now tweeted out the ABC stuff. But again, the cover-up culture, it's been around for decades. It's not the beginning. The bigger story isn't just, it's that Fox News, Jesse Waters, also covered this up to a large extent. Okay? None of you guys were going in-depth like James Patterson was. FBI ready to strike against pedophiles, child groomers. All right. This is the first major step in an investigation that now spans several countries where Epstein, through his closest aides, had teams of procurers scouting for fresh victims. Let me repeat that one. Teams. They call this the enterprise. If you go back, when I really was just covering this thing, guys, if you go to my playlists, all right, I'm just telling you, you go to them too, there's 119 of these videos, okay? You go there, you're going to find out in those indictments that they called this the enterprise for a reason. We just had 2 more people named, one of which was an elderly housekeeper who's already passed. But as I've stated before, what has happened to these procurers? Right now, by the way, Virginia Roberts gave a interview to 60 Minutes in Australia. That's kind of making the rounds. You're seeing bits and pieces of that floating around on social media. But once again, it does look like we're finally going to see some arrests. Okay? The FBI is targeting those suspected of involvement in recruiting underage girls in America, Britain, and Brazil. All right? And remember, the reports out there, and we'll go to that super chat in a moment, and then everybody else's chats as well. The reports out there that Jean-Luc Brunel is actually with Ghislaine Maxwell are that they are in Brazil. Whether or not there's any meat to those reports or not, I'm not sure. So we're going to repeat this quite a few times. I do want to say thank you so much, especially to David Johnson. We're going to go to yours. David Johnson, Kristen Mahar, Seth Hamilton. David Johnson said this, and this is really kind. Since I recently got interested in politics, I'm shocked to discover how little real investigative journalism there is. I remember that pre-internet days when anyone who wanted to know what was going on could read about most of it without having to look very hard. Jason's doing a remarkable job from the standpoint of trying to get the facts straight and also not being a slave to particular ideological perspectives. Thank you, man. David, that's a huge donation. I really appreciate that. Kristen Mahar, I donated twice because I'm a spaz, but no regrets. You deserve it. Thanks, Kristen. Solid, straightforward content. Stays on top of the news that should be covered. Exposes pedophile scum. Seth, thank you so much. Hey to my dog, Karma. Thank you, Crankle Spellman. We appreciate that. Flick Off, always a huge supporter. Thank you, bro. Hard work deserves support. Keep it up, Jason. We're going to come back to the rest of the donations this month in a moment, but I want to go over to your super chats. Remember, we now say we have reports. Oh, wow, there is no super chat here. It's just the Dumont. Thank you, Triple Dumont. Let me say this. We need these arrests, but we also need more. We need to find out beyond just the people that procured. That, don't get me wrong, that's huge, right? We need that, but we need to know about the George Mitchells of the world, the Glenn Dubins of the world, not only the Prince Andrews of the world that are making there, but especially Bill Richardson and New Mexico and Zorro Ranch and everything that was going on there, because these enterprisers very much were global. Okay, very much were global. So let's go here. And by the way, thumbs this up, share it with others, sub out there. Colin Fridman, even with everybody aware of what this man has done and what level, I fully believe that it will be forgotten and nobody will pay. I don't know. You know, one of the stories I didn't just go over, one, we have the president tweeting about the ABC story. I guess the ABC story is good for awakening people that don't realize how controlled the media is. But again, it still keeps in that right-left fake news perspective because Fox is just as big to blame. Everybody knew about this in 2010, 2011. That's when it really started to break. That's when the Daily Mail started to put out Virginia Roberts' information and others, okay? And then it solidified, if anybody wasn't covering it for 6 years, Filthy Rich by James Patterson and Malloy, and I forget the other gentleman's name that helped with the book. I mean, you know, I hammered that home as soon as I read it because it was a very extensive, well-done piece with real investigative journalism. So we have, like I said, one of the stories I didn't cover is the fact that we have more and more people saying things like Epstein didn't kill himself. It's not just the man with the service dog anymore. We just had a young man being talked to about politics, and he snuck it in there. I saw an overpass that I tweeted out. Let's see if we can go there really quick. There was an overpass. Let's see. Here it is right here. And I think just people... We don't want a strike there. Got to turn that off. So yeah, as you can see here, people are programming it into overpasses. It's going to be on billboards and signs. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if there's any kind of a centralized message you can get out there other than the level of corruption that we're now under, and that it's right in your face. Okay. Which I guess doesn't hurt. So, okay, let's keep continuing. They will do their best to see that happen. A lot of it has fell out. Here in the UK, the Royals will make sure of that. Thanks for the info. Thanks for keeping us aware of. We all need to read this, sub, and share the truth. Thank you, man. Well, here's the thing. Prince Andrew is their arms dealer. The royal family, ruled by bloodline in 2019, whether it be the royal family in the United Kingdom or Saudi Arabia or any structure where we have that level of nepotism, is unbelievable in this day and age. But, you know, the only way that you seem to be able to come up is through technology. And I think that we stopped at Richard Branson last time on the third one. But I want to go through this and start with Richard Branson, again, founder of the Virgin Group. Everybody knows who Richard Branson is. But then you have another businessman, Flavio Briatore. And by the way, this is the black book that was smuggled out by one of the butlers. The butler got more time than Epstein did for smuggling it out. Okay, and this was one black book of many black books. This just had to do with one residence, the Florida residence. And when he got out of jail, he died. Pretty short after, okay? So this man was a friend of Trump, a convicted car cheat and accused Formula One racer fixer. Briatore was a longtime fugitive in the Virgin Islands. Huh. So you think about this stuff. That there's no connections to Trump. No, Trump runs in this world. He had a connection to Epstein. There's a reason he's at that party. That doesn't mean he has a connection to the young girls in Epstein and that end of it. It doesn't seem like that connection is there. Otherwise, I would have reported on it. You know, I've talked about the one 13-year-old girl and whether or not that's legitimate. You know, it was never really followed up on. You can believe what you want there. It was conveniently timed. But if you look at what Virginia Roberts said, and she is the source whose father worked at Mar-a-Lago, you know, one of those initial whistleblowers, she said that Trump was not like that. So, you know, and he also cooperated with Bradley Edwards, the attorney. John Brockman, agent of Scientific Free Thinkers. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. Here's a picture of John Brockman, and he's with Steven Pinker, Daniel Dennett, Katanak Matson, and Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins himself. Oh, huh. Mr. Evolution, Mr. Nothing After We Die, Mr. Everything's a Conspiracy Theory. Richard Dawkins, there he is. And he's on this in 2010. Now this also shows, and they're going to the TED conference, by the way, this also shows how Epstein was getting into technology in the late 90s, early 2000s, and kind of getting a little bit more away from moving money for arms dealers, per se. Trying to legitimize that money a little bit. Because, let's be honest, what was he doing in the 80s? Tower Capital International, I think it's Towers Capital International, was the one after Bear Stearns. So, John Brockman, let's talk about what seems new in flipping through the reams of society photos and perhaps the world's prolific sex predator that have been circulating over the past few weeks is not the powerful and beautiful who surrounded Epstein, but the intellectuals. The Dawkins, the Dennetts, the Steve Pinks, all men, of course. But the group selfies probably shouldn't have been a surprise document of an age in which every millionaire doesn't just fancy himself a philosopher king, but expects to be treated as such, and every public intellectual wants to be seen as kind of a celebrity. You see that right there? And this one goes on pretty deep, like I said, of how he was getting involved in these groups. So then you have Edgar Bronfman Jr. Now, Edgar Bronfman Jr. is the son of Edgar Bronfman Sr. If you've watched my stuff on NXIVM, you should be pretty well aware of that. Edgar Bronfman Sr. ends up being the head of the World Jewish Congress. He gets the Presidential American, I think it's the American Presidential Medal of Freedom or Honor from Clinton. And, of course, his daughters, Claire and Sarah, are the ones that are heavily involved in NXIVM, a case that's largely been whitewashed. Now, aside from being the Seagram's heir, he also was heavily involved in the movie industry. Now, his son, you can see Time Warner Music Group, he gets into the music industry. You notice how they're all related to entertainment? You think Claire Bronfman, who was recruiting some of these wannabe celebrities, oh, we can get you a audition here. I know this person knows this person. They talk about, him being the son of Edgar Bronfman. But Edgar Bronfman also, as the head of the World Jewish Congress, was one of the people that was able to get that Nazi gold back in the day, too. All right. So I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to go back to the questions. Remember, get the questions in. We'll try to do all super chats as well. But I'm sure this is going to jump at some point quick. Let's see. Oh, and there's the jump. See, I didn't do that. And there's that. We're going to go all the way back up. So get them in. The powers that be are cool with pedo, end of story. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. Colin, that's because the royals are pedos as well. Some of them do seem to be. I mean, Lord Mountbatten, the allegations there are pretty cut and dry. Can you tell us to go to your Twitter and click to the shadow ban links that only your account can see? Yeah, you can if you want. I mean, take a look. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, there's the shadow ban links are here. So if you're logged in as me and you want to see the Conor McGregor stuff, right? We'll get down to what are these new? Those are new. Let's see, 2 more replies. I guess these are people. Oh, there we go. We want the 19 replies. So as you can see, guys, all this stuff that confirms everything I've been saying about McGregor and how it was a brutal beating and rape, all those links, and by the way, there's more here. You'll see how we linked to like a dozen stories or so. On the very bottom that don't really get into the nitty-gritty of the matter are going to be available for the majority of you. And if you don't believe me, let's see if we can get rid of that and go here. So if you are logged in or you're not me, okay, and we go to that same tweet, this is not me logged in. All right, you see the 2 more reply one, but we want to go to the 19 reply one, right? Or do we have to go back up to 2? 2 more. There. Still not there. Show more replies. Huh. Don't seem to be there, do they? Let me see if that I skip over the 19. Or is it just not there at all anymore? There it is, 19 more replies. So this is where you should see the thread, but you don't. See what I'm saying? It's gone. Thread's gone. It just doesn't exist. Here's the 11 more replies, if you don't believe me. Bam. You have to get down to the bottom. See, you see how Twitter censors? All these are gone. And why? Well, it's one of the big reasons that they, Epstein might have had dirt on everybody, but it's also worth a lot of money to a lot of people. If he had $1 billion, I know they only found like $600 million in assets, people had an interest to keep him out. Same with Conor McGregor. You got Perry Match. Perry Match, where is it? It's unbelievably disgusting. Add them. They got the guy, they're selling you gambling. Multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay? They're invested in McGregor. Disney's invested in McGregor. ESPN's invested in McGregor. UFC's invested. He's worth billions of dollars to people. And the fact that he brutally beat and raped a woman and sodomized her in front of people, they don't want that coming out. Okay, that's 11 months ago now, guys. That's all real. So, let's get back to some questions here. Colin, that's because pedos are as well. Let's keep going. Did that. Hope everyone's well today. Yes, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up and share, by the way. Subscribe if you're new to the Burmese Brigade. Join. Don, I'm a Scottish Republican, not my queen. And by the way, to new viewers, the FBI supposedly is going after four of the co-conspirators and is going to arrest them in the Epstein case. That's the big news we're breaking here. We want to get that in there. Okay? And the president did tweet out about the ABC incident. But the bigger news is they are ready to strike against these other people. So ask me anything. Get them in there. Taking all super chats. Thumbs up and share. Are they arrested today? Not that I know of. Hopefully they're going to be in the next week. And we're not just, there aren't going to be any more prison suicides. They're going to do their jobs and make sure that they testify against other co-conspirators, and we can bring down this large ring. Thank you. We're not reading that one. It's going to be working for him in the mansion. Not one single person will go to prison. I hope you're wrong. What is your source? Apparently it's an FBI source, and right now it's in theexpress.co.uk. Here you go. There's your source. Guys, that's the other thing. A lot of people want links. Hit pause. This is 1080p, baby. I know you want that single click, but you can just Google it. All these headlines are there. Do the research yourself. We've read it. And again, we're talking about in the United States, Britain, and Brazil. All right? It looks like that's where we're getting them. The source added, I doubt they will be offered the opportunity of a plea bargain based on the gravity of the offenses and profile of this case. But some could be handed less severe sentences if they cooperate. So there you go. Let's see if it's happening. Are they getting 4 more? So let's keep going. That was that big super chat, by the way. We appreciate that. My life's my source. Thumbs up. Who's seen the video of the person escaping from the top window? Yeah, but that was supposedly some viral marketing. They did and that would make sense because the Secret Service is everywhere. There, MI5, MI6. To think that, just the Royal Guard, that could happen, I doubt that could happen. It was supposedly some kind of viral video. That was a movie, yes, exactly. Eddie Hearn's dad, Barry Hearn, and his wife are black book under match room boxing. I believe that. Jimmy Savile was protected by the same people who will kill to cover this up. You are probably correct. It's rumored that Jimmy Savile was actually going to be Prince Charles's godfather, or godfather to his sons. I think to William, not Harry. But that's I've gone over that. That's been published. I mean, the guy was a necrophiliac on top of everything else. It's disgusting. These people are sick. Paul Phoenix, the FBI has seen everything and has more knowledge of the contents than I do. It was not my business to look deeper into the files. John Mark Dugan. Yeah, the John Mark Dugan story is interesting. I'm not calling him a liar. I just need more evidence. Again, we've talked about these dead man switch and all that other stuff, but I've never seen evidence of one in practice. So we're going to come back to the chat in a second, but we're going to continue on into the black book, because here we have another big one. Is Jean-Luc Brunel going to be one of the people that is arrested in this? Remember, Jean-Luc Brunel, especially in that 2,000 pages of documents, you had the twin French girls, you had a lot of other allegations prior to that. Claude Hadid would be another one where there were a ton of allegations against him as well. And these models were basically being able to procure through agencies in the United States these 14, 15-year-old girls to go over into Europe and just be used and abused, molested, and passed around by these guys. That's real. Like it says, in 1988, he was the subject of the 60 Minutes investigation, alleging that he and fellow agents sexually assaulted nearly 24 models. And we showed you that 60 Minutes piece. We went over the whole thing on this channel. That's why you need to thumbs it up, share it, subscribe, become a member of the Burmese Brigade. We're doing it. Jean-Juliet Buck, he's a fashion editor. Remember, the art world, the fashion world. Unlimited supply of young girls with big dreams. In 2003, Buck, and drug world. That's another little secret of that. And then they'll hustle a little money into geopolitics and the arms dealing world. Leslie Wexner and the Wexner Group. Look into it. The Mega Group. All this is real. We just talked about Edgar Bronfman Jr. Check out Senior. Oh, in 2003, Buck met Maxwell at a fashion party at the New York City Bouquet. That's Ghislaine Maxwell, still on the run. Hopefully that's one of the 4 that's going to be arrested shortly. Buck had recently moved on from her 7-year tenure as the editor of Paris Vogue and was writing for its American counterpart and living in New Mexico. Again, this is why New Mexico is so important. Remember, Epstein never even had to register as a sex offender in Mexico because the age of consent was 16. That's part of the scam. That's part of the thing that the media is not telling you about. Oh, Jeffrey's got a ranch in Santa Fe, blah, blah, blah. Remember, Zorro Ranch? Still not rated. So you can't really depend on the FBI to actually do anything but limited hangout, but we'll see. We'll see. I want to believe in miracles, but the system obviously failed us when a man was able to have his neck broken in 3 separate places now, more than ever pointing to the fact that he was killed there and that first altercation wasn't suicide, according to Baden. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but it doesn't seem like it wouldn't be true. All this surrounded in mystery, no cameras, no guards, come on. Oh, Ron Burkle, Air Fuck One. This is a guy. Now, all you people out there with the Rachel Chandler memes with Bill Clinton, okay? Let's get something straight. That's not Epstein's plane. That's Air Fuck One. That's Ron Burkle's plane. And Ron Burkle, also not a good guy. And Ron Burkle connected to Epstein. But we talk about two different cases there. Name found in Epstein's Black Book and on the private jet log, Burkle took what were described as humanitarian trips to Africa with Bill Clinton on Epstein's private Boeing in 727. So that's how the Clinton connection's there. You know, Burkle's in with Clinton, Epstein's in with Clinton, he went on the Africa trip, but Clinton and Chandler were on Burkle's plane. Okay? According to a 2008 Vanity Fair feature about the former president, Burkle's usual means of transport is the custom-converted Boeing 757 that Clinton calls Ron Air, and that Burkle's own circle of young aides privately refer to as Air One. Huh. Look who else is in there. Candace Bushnell, columnist who inspired Sex in the City. Or Sex and the City, sorry. You know, that popular show that was a movie that women were obsessed about in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it ran a pretty long course. Big career. Big career. All right. Before we go back to your questions, I want to thank, let's see, Brandy Cooper Chardon. A long time ago, I got my eyes open because of loose change. Fast forward to 10 years later, I found Jason Burmese. Thanks for sharing your work. Thank you, Brandy. Please include the articles link mentioned in your YouTube videos. Kimberly, the reason I don't put the articles linked is because they have even less of a chance to get monetized after manual review. I'm about 30% right now of my videos being remonetized. That's why I do the GoFundMe. This is what supports me. That's why I don't put in the article links. Like I said, you can just hit pause on that, and you can copy the headline, or you can look at the URL. It's pretty easy to find. Rob Ramey, keep the truth coming. Your work is much appreciated. Thank you so much. Scott Slade, because Jason works harder than anyone. Don't agree 100%, but love your integrity. I love your integrity. Can't do Patreon. I don't want to be taken off. So far, GoFundMe hasn't messed with me. I'm very open about what this GoFundMe is. It allows me to live. It allows me to do this 7 days a week. In fact, we're going to have James Corbett on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about Edward Snowden and the problems with his story and how he's been treated much differently than Julian Assange. So if you like the Corbett Report, you love James Corbett like me, make sure you're tuning in or you catch that tomorrow after the fact. And by the way, again, I appreciate all these donations. It's what's keeping me going, guys. Michael Bogma donated 20. He said, I want to stay positive. I'm working up to a life, and believe me, I got your back, brother. Sorry couldn't be sooner. I'm already blacklisted, so I personally have a hard time getting off the ground, really. Want to help. Well, thank you for helping. And listen, everybody can empower themselves and do more and more and more. We'll get to this last round in a minute, but let's go back to the questions. And if there's a jump, I apologize, guys. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. There's the Dugan guy. We just talked about that. It's a good idea having super chats, considering that at end time withhold those funds and shut your channel down. Yes, it is, because the reason that I want these super chats is I want YouTube to keep me on their platform for as long as possible. Listen, I'm not preaching hate. I'm preaching truth. And if I were to be taken off the platform, I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for peace. I'm not calling for lies. I'm calling for truth. I'm not calling for hate. I'm calling for reaching out to one another. If they're going to censor that type of information and say that's inflammatory, that would expose them even further than they've already been exposed in many ways. For instance, you can't say Maxi Boy's name, the Ukrainian whistleblower, Ericana Caramello Delicious Candy Man. So what happened to all those videos of powerful people Epstein had? Great question, what happened? And whether or not Dugan really has them or not. It's a good question. I don't know. Trying to get Atwood on, by the way. He never got back to me. Colin, I thought Scotland is part of the UK, so how isn't it your queen? I don't know what that is. JE's victims need to be able to proceed using evidence collected in JE case. Correct. I don't know. Thank you for all your work, Jason. Burmese Brigade. By the way, thumbs this up, share it with others. And the chemtrails just keep killing us all. That's a fact. Don't forget 5G. Thank you for what you do. Hey, a chat. Epstein didn't kill himself. The memes everywhere. 4 people are going to be arrested. Looks like the FBI really are cleaning up now. We'll see. Again, not holding my breath, but it says again, some of the child groomers, they're getting arrested in the coming days or possibly weeks. This is out of this isn't a fake news site. This is out of the Express. So we'll find out whether or not that is the case. All right, let's continue on to the questions. There's some sarcasm. I know what Dugan says he has, and I know he's talked about, the police officer that was killed, Ricari. I need more evidence. I'm not saying he's lying. The FBI agents all effed. I don't know what that means either. It's going to take a lot more than 4 people to consider the FBI to be cleaning up. I agree. He must have recorded Andrew. I don't know what that... Listen, Prince Andrew, again, was doing more than just hanging out with little girls there. That was part of the deal, but I'm sure that was the sweetheart part of the deal that he was trying to get the, the arms deal done. Okay? Arms deals worth billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, dollaros. That's what these people care about, money, power. Then the arms go to areas where they control, they make more money, and they, gain military dominance over that area. It's pretty brutal, really, when you think about it, how this all intertwines together. There has been a huge bust in the last couple of years. Things are happening globally. They've been some busts. You should interview Lee Stranahan. I talked to Stranahan a little bit behind the scenes. I've never talked to him in person. Stranahan's an interesting guy. I'd certainly have him on. I saw a black book at least 2 years ago and is quite a bit different from the latest. That's how Intel Ops works. Trump has been in there honey pat. They were trying to blackmail him back then. Yep. Hey, Jason, thanks for the video. Yada, yada, yada. Naughty Richard. Sup. They hope nothing happens after they die because they're burning in hell. Trump was too smart and didn't fall for it, which explains the deep hatred. You know what? I'll say this about Trump once again. I still haven't seen any evidence of, pedo behavior. I know a lot of people want to put it out there, and there is that one accuser. I've talked about that. But he certainly liked women. I think that was part of it. You got to remember, Epstein kept a lot of these women around till their early 20s, and then some of the girls in their early 20s became procurers for him themselves, like Marcinkova, Nadia Marcinkova. I should really get Derek Bros on to go over yet another really great Epstein video of theconsciousresistance.com. I'm 54. Trump was a party boy. It's well known. He got tons. Oh, but they're all connected. Hey, everyone. Oops, that one jumped. See, they jump. Did I miss any other super chats? No. Where did we go? See, look at all that jumpage. No, okay. Let's see. There's the Bronfman stuff, 81. There we go. Is anyone else having tons of connectivity problems? I think you're the only one. I think everybody's good. Trump's smart. Yeah, right. 86, Wexner becomes clients. 81, Bear Stearns. Yeah, and Wexner's his main client for a very long time, which is as shifty as hell. Something else. I goofed. Meant to thank you very much for your honest journalism. There has been more days that you have been one of the few voices of reason. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that super chat, by the way. Still free. Claire Bronfman. Wish you would be locked up. People could sleep. And remember, Claire Bronfman's already worked out a deal of 21 to 72 months. She gets more than 27 months. She can appeal that. I think it was like $4.6 million payout. She paid almost $15 million to ensure that she was in control of everybody else's legal fund. Keith Raniere, he had his sentencing postponed. He put his eggs in the basket of letting basically them run his defense and not calling anybody as a witness after the fact. Very bizarre stuff. And the cultural, or the Rainbow Cultural Garden, this nursery school connected to them, which was all over not only the country, but in Mexico and in Europe as well. You're connected to Carlos Salinas, the president's son. I mean, it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder when you're dealing with these people. Okay? Let's see. We'll believe it when I see it. Yep, I'll believe it when I see it too. Look at who Harry Connick Jr.'s dad was involved with in New Orleans post-JFK. I don't know anything about that. How many of the 13 bloodlines? I don't know what Chomo is. All 13. What's it? I don't even want to go. Isn't Harry Connick a good guy? I don't really know Harry Connick Jr. much other than he's acted in some stuff and he's a singer. Plays some piano, I think. Realize how biased CNN News was towards Epstein's suicide. Absolutely insane. All of them were. I mean, some of them were like, wow, I can't believe it. But that was about it. No one dug in. No one dug in hard when those 2,000 documents came out just prior. I hate that all the heroes and pedos, but hey, the pedopocalypse, man, we'll see. We'll see. Twitter has gone full Gestapo, yes. Can't believe Mountbatten was the one to invite Seville into the royal circle. That kind of makes sense. And Mountbatten, again, was promoted even after the FBI knew what he was up to. They made him the Allied commander of the United Nations at one point. The head of NATO. My God. Let's see. I overheard too gross. I don't want to know anything about that. Bloodlines outing each other. Biblical. Michael Shrimpton recently said Savile was German intel. That's very possible. Again, a lot of these sickos are intel. Just put him in the Habib again. And no. We never want Conor McGregor to fight again as a violent rapist. I don't ever want to see him make money fighting again. Ever. Do you think this is because of the backlash, because of the memes, or was it planned all along? I don't know what you're talking about. Was what? Any word of the cooperation with foreign jurisdictions? No, but there are definitely investigations going on in Europe, in France in particular, against Epstein. So you got to ask yourself. But with the reports of Ghislaine Maxwell and Brunel possibly being in Brazil, why aren't we worried about extraditing them? Everybody's worried about extraditing Assange. How about we extradite people that were involved in the international human trafficking of children for decades. Does that make sense to anybody? And if you're just joining me, if you're new to the stream, once again, the big news is that Jeffrey Epstein, FBI ready to strike against 4 of his groomers, the associates. So hopefully this really isn't going away and that they are going to arrest these people. And that this is not, this is not hearsay. This is from somebody within the agency who knows. All right, and before we do that, we go back to your questions. I want to thank some more people. Thomas McCaudy, keep up the good work. Jason, great. Donna Garrison, thank you so much. Watching Sandusky show, you rock. This is prevalent. Yeah, if you don't know, Sandusky, Penn State, there was another child trafficking ring. The Second Mile Foundation, etc. So David Taylor says if you watch your channel, you'll know why we donate. Well, thank you, man. And guys, I'm doing it with your support. So $5, $10, $15 means the world to me over on the GoFundMe. Make sure you're subscribed, thumbing up, and become a member of the Burmese Brigade. We're over 36,000. We're on the way to 40,000. I'm also a documentary filmmaker. All my films are free. And that being said, let's crank back through some names, huh? So who's next? Arpad Bousin, a French financer. Oh. During a custody battle with ex-Uma Thurman, her lawyer asked Bassem, a prominent hedge funder, if he ever said he was addicted to prostitutes. Huh. Weird. Weird. I wonder what Uma'd have to say. I mean, it is her ex-husband. Jason Calasinas, he's a businessman, an investor in Uber. Calasinas was a fixture in the early aughts New York tech scene. See that? In the early 2000s, Jeffrey Epstein, late 90s, he definitely pivoted. He said, more money in tech. As the founder and editor of Silicon Alley Reporter. I can't tell you how many propositions I get. It's absolutely insane, he told The Observer in 2000. In 2014, Vice awarded him Most Offensive Tweet of the Year for describing as a racist the idea of white privilege. I don't know what that means. I can't trust Vice. I'm not saying anything about that. Let's see. Nikki Caldeone. I guess that's an Earl. I guess that's another one of the royal family. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. That's it. He's an Earl or she's an Earl. I don't know what that is. Nikki Caldeone. Let's look it up. Let's do it live. We do it live. Nikki Caldeone. Oh, yep. It's another one of those royal family Earls. Huh. He's got a lot of royal connections, this Epstein. Black Book Royal Connections. Let's see. Nicholas and Christian Candy. They are British property developer brothers. You've got Graydon Carter, former editor of Vanity Fair. And remember, these publications are part of that high society art world that we're talking about with all these connections. According to journalist Vicky Ward, he killed portions of the 2003 story that accused Epstein of pedophilia after an office visit from Epstein. Carter says there wasn't enough on-the-record sourcing. Nonsense. I didn't invent the system. I just live by the system. And this is the other thing. We're talking about 2016. Really, it was 13 years before 2016, 16 years ago, that people like Vicky Ward were trying to break this story. And they couldn't. Okay? That's the real scandal. Those are the real scandals out there. So I'll tell you what, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down to the questions. And I'm going to go up. And this is going to be our last hurrah. So make sure you thumbs this video up and share it with others. I want to thank everybody who has joined me. So why do they give out heads-up notice to the perps just so they can run or hide or get rid of anything incriminating if it still exists? I want to hear about this after it's actually a fact. Yeah, I wish they'd already gotten a lot of them, man. I can't disagree with you there. Epstein entrapped and recruited university bigwigs to steer tech investments. That does seem like a reality, Rampart. We keep forgetting nobility was taken with the tip of the sword. Hidden in plain sight. Yeah, sure, and Vicky Ward in a lot of photos with Glenn. Yeah, no, she is. Oh, 100%. Well, what do you do when you work amongst vipers and you've tried to expose them? Do you give up everything? I mean, I know her husband has connection to, who is it? Conrad Black, right? Let's see what else we got. Anything good in here? Let's see. Seville was a monster. I saw that. Pro-Trump equals pro-Zionist. In a lot of, I mean, he's pretty much an open Zionist and has done everything for Israel. I can't really argue too much with that. Let's see. I haven't talked to Alex Jones in years. Has everyone seen the video of Carson outing Andrew? I did a video on Carson outing Andrew in '84, probably like 2 months ago when I first saw it. Peter Thiel's ties to Trump make me highly suspect, especially since Peter Thiel is injecting young people's blood, and he's a not only a Bilderberg member but a steering committee member, one of the top 25. And he's the founder of PayPal. He's Trump's technology advisor. Yeah, you should be concerned about that. I agree. Houston, Texas. Bahaha. Good point, Debbie. I don't know what any of this is. Sharing your work here in Ireland, particularly the Conor McGregor stuff. Well, thank you. Yes, guys, please share this. Okay, if you want to open people's eyes, or you're not sure what I'm talking about with McGregor, and you wonder why I'm so upset about it, there's a video here that goes over everything other than the fact that this woman who was brutally beat, raped, and sodomized in front of people by McGregor, everything's up to date on that other than the fact that the victim rejected over $1 million payout. And it still, for some reason, hasn't gone to court. It just takes forever to do this thing. We're talking 11 months later. And people have tried to say it's rumors and everything else. It really speaks to the system. So if you say a week later, you can find this video, and this is the video to share, and you need to check it out. That being said, guys, I'm a documentary filmmaker. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture, all available free right here. Thumbs this video up. We got one more super chat. Looks like we're getting it in. We're getting it in. What is it? Whistleblower, real whistleblower. John Caracas said if the CIA procures people with honey traps, then people who were pedophiles would get what they wanted to because the ends justify the means. So glad you brought that up, my friend. Not because I'm happy that that's a reality, but if you've been watching this channel and you know about this channel, well, guess what? We did a video on that too. It looks like it's pre-McGregor, but let's find it. Where is it? Oh, man, I hope they didn't take it down. No, it's got to be here. Whistle blown. That's what it'll say on the top. Whistle blown. Where is it? Didn't take that down, did they? I'll be so mad. It's definitely before that. Wow. No. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Shake. There it is. Whistle blown. Whew. Yeah, right there. There it is. If you want to see that video he's talking about, what this CIA whistleblower, that's John Caraco, just revealed, should shake everybody to their very core. So there it is right there. It is before the Conor video by a little bit, but those are two videos you should be checking out, guys. Subscribe, become a member of the Burmese Brigade. Let's get to 40,000. Like I said, $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. David Johnson, thank you so much. Kristen Mahar, thank you so much again. You guys rock. I love you guys, and I'm going to be back later tonight with James Corbett talking Edward Snowden and a lot of other things. So I'll see you on the flip side.